afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting Propagandacast with me, your host, Imperial Dane, Master of Propaganda, Hero of Reich, Defender of the Fatherland, here to deliver on to you guys, and here's another glorious Propagandacast, a 1 versus 1 on the Pripyet Marches, or river area, whatever, a 1 versus 1, and we're actually having a summer map now. There's only 2 in the beta currently. We have this one, which is also actually serving as a 2 versus 2 map. In this case, it's a 1 versus 1 we're going to be having on this front. We shall be watching Xelor fighting for the 3rd SS Panzer Division Totenkopf. One of the most infamous of the Panzer divisions, due to its rather less than grand origins of concentration camp guards, although later on I believe troops were not drawn from there. It generally ended up with some rather interesting reputations. Opposing him, though, shall be Nystrom or Nystrom, depending on where you're from, I suppose, fighting for the Soviets, taking on the fight for the 20th Tank Corps, rolling out for the motherland. Hoorah! And we are actually seeing a pretty pioneer aggressive start going on here from Xelor. We do see, the more pioneer aggressive start, still a bit of a remnant from the first Company of Heroes game. Lots of pioneers taking on to the next stuff, whereas we do see that Nystrom's not bothering with that. He's getting some good old conscripts out in the field and taking some ground for Stalin. And already there, of course, he's taking up quickly. He's probably planning on using the Tier 2 building, the leichte mechanized company, or would have been technically leichte gepanzerte company, since they didn't really call anything mechanized. I mean, if we're talking sort of anything that was half-track, that was gepanzert. So, fun fact there. Also, fun fact about the 3rd SS. If you read a lot of memoirs from former German commanders like Guderian or Manstein, you'll usually see them full of praise for the 3rd SS Panzer Division, which is actually quite interesting, because they're also usually so busy distancing them from everything else, and they'll still end up praising this one quite a bit. I mean, it had a tendency, for getting results. Usually, though, the results also involved some pretty steep cost to this. The 3rd SS also tended to have some incredibly high casualties, even compared to other SS divisions, who were also having a tendency of being a bit overly aggressive and zealous. We are seeing a further aggressive push going on here from Nystrom towards the south. Of course, the one thing to note here about Pripyet is there are 2 paths up on either side of the map, riverways, if you will, where troops move slow, of course more exposed, but at the same time can be used to sneak over into your opponent's territory. And then, of course, you have the area where most of the fighting happens, the bridges of the center. Also a bit of a funnel action going on there, and certainly has led some players to call this the Shield Point 2. But at the same time, a clever player will try and use the different bits over here to sort of sneak past the opponent's main defense, as usually they won't be as much guarded. So clever usage right there can actually do quite a bit. In the meanwhile, Nystrom progressing nicely in the south, encountering a barbed wire obstacle. Apparently not quite fully laid down. Apparently they somehow snuck by. Less good. Heinz, apparently someone decided to skip on the barbed wire. Apparently replace it with string. Well, pioneers engaging, and they're quickly run off. Of course, still, the current problem that Xelor's running into is, in fact, he has absolutely no combat troops. He is currently working on getting some panzer gunners out, which are definitely, they are going to overwhelm the conscripts right away, simply due to the fact that panzer gunners are that much tougher, and of course equipped with assault rifles, which tends to be a bit of a match for the Mosin Nagant. Pioneers sneaking about, though, but overall, Nystrom's just managed to secure most of the map, most of the victory points, whereas previously they were in the hands of Xelor and the 3rd SS. And there we go, Panzer Grenadiers in their summer uniforms with a bit of P-dot uniform or camouflage. And of course, lots of Sturmgewehrs. Pioneers following up on that, creating a nice little assault detachment, half-track on the way. Schützenpanzerwagen, and we are in fact seeing right here Nystrom laying down what is a barbed wire field. It's just not there for actually blocking off your opponent's move, it's just there for slowing him down, so if he wants to move through it, well, he's going to be quite an easy target. At the same time, you also see a T-34 anti-tank mine being laid down there, which can actually also kill infantry. Quite a devastating little thing, but in this case the Germans do push forward, and we do see that the combat engineers are getting pushed away. Xelor returning with full might in the south, and we do see the half-track up here. Nice free color camouflage on it. Conscripts holding up here by the southern farmstead, or what remains of it. Though they are likely going to get overwhelmed as well as Panzer Grenadiers and Pioneers far away. And there we go. Full retreat going on there for the conscripts. They are securing the rest of the map though. They could try and lay down some sandbags, and we are in fact seeing the half-tech also being pretty quickly equipped with the Flamethrower upgrade. And unlike the first game, this is actually a much more useful one, and also a lot more devastating, although it can be stopped with a few anti-tank grenades, in which case even the first one is definitely going to slow it down. The question is, though, will Nystrom actually be prepared for a Flamethrower half-tech rush? Panzer is meanwhile applying pressure from the south, forcing away the conscripts of Nystrom, and there we go, the Flamethrowers on, and just look at that, such beautiful, glorious fire. Burn, I mean, how terrible. Anyways, going on a rampage right there, and meanwhile the conscripts do seem to be largely surviving, although a few do go down to the torrents of infernal fire unleashed upon them. Teutonic rage unleashed on a half-track vehicle. And right there, of course, we do see that Xelor's advancing. There we go. So many more Panzer gunners being trained. Anti-tank grenades could be ready, and there we go. Anti-tank grenade goes off. And there we go. Heavy damage to the half-track. It's definitely going to be moving slower. The conscripts need to get out there. Could be seeing another anti-tank grenade. We also seeing the heavy machine gun nest right there actually firing away on the half-track. Actually doing a bit more damage, I think. But the conscripts are burning alive like torches they have been turned into. Another anti-tank grenade, and there we go, the half-tank goes out of control. Although it has managed to do quite some catastrophic damage overall, though Nystrom quickly recovered. And that's actually pretty much a bit of manpower, fuel, and a lot of munitions wasted right there for Xelor. Although again, he did do some serious damage. Obstacle clearing kit with this. Now actually you also need to upgrade if you actually want to cut wire, but then again, wire is less dominant as it was in the previous game. I mean, you can't quite easily just log off half the map, so in that sense, not as vital, although minesweepers still are. Fighting going on there for the centre, and so far 3 squads of Panzer Grenadiers. Note though, Panzer Grenadiers are expensive. And also note here, we do see the NKVD, not NKVD, but the Guards Rifle Doctrine actually going up here for Nystrom, which actually gives his troops the ability to, well, hit the deck, if you will, and Deckung, whatever, take cover. It basically means they can't move, but they actually gain some defensive bonuses as they completely get down on the ground and boogie. No, not quite boogie, but you can always imagine they boogie if you want to. No one's stopping you, except me. Panzers still continue to press on. No, I mean, again, Panzers are expensive, not just in training, but also in reinforcing. So, I mean, you should be careful of just going too heavily on the Panzer Grenadiere. And there we go, Pioneers and Engineers. Combat Engineers. I keep calling them Pioneers, damn it. Scheiße. More conscripts that are pushing out from Nystrom. He's doing his best to try to keep up harassment at the very least. And we also see a quick push again for the victory points going on here from Xelor. And fuel point up then in North falling. Panzer is pushed away due to the presence of a flamethrower now arriving from Nystrom's combat engineers. Also note we do see a support weapon Campanea up for Nystrom. Panzer Grenadiers quickly on the retreat. And also note here, he's actually got an assault support, which gives him, well, a noble blitz truck, which can actually be used to secure resources. And actually gives you a bit more resources. In fact, also note, you don't actually have to place it this close, you can actually just place it in the sector's vicinity. And can also be combined with a fuel cache, although in this case, this is actually 400 manpower being expended towards this. Second ability actually gives you what is called an artillery field officer. He's more useful than the first game's German officer. He can also boost your troops' combat skills by being nearby and popping ability. He can call down a smoke barrage, and he can victor targets for your own artillery. Strafing run. It doesn't actually kill a lot, but it really does a good job in pinning the enemy. Tiger tank and a fragmentation bombing run. So this is definitely one of the more aggressive doctrines up for the Germans at the moment. Panzers pushing up here, and there we go. Veterans 1 up, also Veterans 1 for the conscripts, and we do see the Panzers pushed away. I mean, again, they've got a lot of firepower, but the trouble is for Xelor, he can't really muster them in a greater number, and he can't really control the map that well with them. In this case, another conscript squad getting run off. The Panzer Grenadier of the 3rd SS push forwards. And of course, another thing that actually allowed the SS Panzer Division this sort of reputation they had was that, and that of course is the one thing you don't hear so much about, is they actually had much larger infantry complements. That is, the SS divisions, regiments of Panzer Grenadiers would actually have 1 battalion more than a regular army division. It's the one thing you actually don't hear so much about, but generally it did allow them that much more firepower, because again that basically meant a Panzer division could actually muster as much infantry as a regular army infantry unit or a Panzer Grenadier unit, and for that matter an SS Panzer Grenadier unit could muster a lot more infantry. So fun little fact there, and definitely again not the what sort of thing you actually hear much about. We do see the mechanized armor company coming out, so Nystrom actually going for some tank destroyers, some assault guns, opening up for the Su-76M and the Su-85 tank destroyer amongst other things. Panzer is fighting here versus the conscripts again, hitting the deck, and also nobody's actually equipped with the submachine guns, so in this case, and a Molotov going off here. They actually become pretty tough troops. We do see a Geballte-Ladung going off their button grenade, the Panzers themselves catching on fire. Only 1 man getting out of that engagement, whereas 3 conscripts win this one, so that was kind of alright. But the PPH-41, pretty solid submachine gun the Soviets had. This one apparently having the drum magazine, although slightly fun fact about it, if the drum magazine was fully loaded, it would actually hurt the magazine, so they actually ended up loading just a bit under that. And the Germans were actually quite fond of using it, plus they captured, I think, several millions of it, so they even began a program towards converting them towards using German ammunition. And meanwhile, though, heavy fighting going for the centre of the Panzers that are slowly able to turn the tide, but again, now with submachine guns being equipped for Nystrom's troops, it's actually time to have a look at Nystrom, so I'll be popping up there again. Hit the dirt, it's called. And there we go, the assault package as it's known. Flamethrowers bring up, that Panzer is quickly pushed away, and again, hit the dirt, allowing the conscripts to absorb a lot more damage. And I mean, clearly, you can see a lot of Soviet players actually using it. I mean, it can actually be quite nice and devastating. There we go, bunker going down, though not the concrete bunkers of Company Use 1, the more dirt bunkers, slightly reinforced. Can also be used to actually more all-around defenses, though. And an MG upgrade here. Young Heinz holding watch over the southern passageway. But 5 infantry squads for Nystrom. Note, not a heavy upkeep on that. And also note the Su-76M. The M standing for it's a modernized version. In this case, well, I don't actually know what that did for the Su-76. But it served as an infantry support weapon, basically a bit like the Stuke, just not as good, nor as awesome looking, in my humble opinion. And there we go, Veteran 2 for the conscripts, so again, more accurate and improved durability. That means, of course, also their submachine guns are actually going to be quite devastating. They actually allows them to very nicely take on Panzers. Although we do see a bomb grenade here, conscripts retreating, fighting down south, another conscript squad retreating in the face of the Panzer Grenadiers and the Pioneers, and S-mines going off. Yes, the S-minen. Springminen. And a conscript's got 2 conscripts going down to mines. Absolutely vicious stuff. Really nicely done here by Xelor. Again, the S-minen, basically jumping mines, I believe. Really devastating stuff, and absolutely tore out the heart of Nystrom's veteran troops. Definitely not good news for him. But again, I mean, also shows the importance of mines. The thing is to know about the S-mines is you actually lay down an entire field at a time. They also cost quite a bit of munitions. On the other hand, you really can tear through infantry. And there we go, conscript fighting versus the Panzer Grenadiers. And there we go, of course, hitting the dirt also suspended. You're a bit easier to hit with a blunt grenade, but in this case, looks like the squads did semi-alright. Although, another squad went down to the SS Panzer Grenadier, and that Xelor can muster in the name of the fatherland. It's a Reichsführer SS. Su-76 still pulling back, having knocked out that vital emplacement right there for that Xelor had to hold the south. And we also see that the support armor corps goes up, likely providing some of the panzers. And more conscripts on the way. I mean, so far, really heavy infantry losses for the tank corps. Just so far, yet actually employing any of its tanks, but that's a minor detail. Minor detail. Fighting going on for the victory points. I mean, really heavy harassment, of course, also towards the fuel point. And again, note, I mean, usually on this map, you do see a lot of players sort of funneling towards this, but Nystrom very nicely avoids this. He constantly shifts about, and again, also goes for the south, which then, of course, also forces, and of course, this is the clever part, to spread Xelor to spread out his forces more. But we do see a Panzerkampfwagen 4 rolling out there. The Mexican Panzerkampfwagen 4 again, a lovely camouflage right there. Rolling forward, and with a machine gun upgrade. Opening up then the Pioneers. 2-man down with a single high explosive round. And looks like Nystrom is actually now getting ready for an assault on the center. Of course, one thing that Nystrom could also consider was getting a company in the squad with their own hazard package removal kit. And clear up the mines there. Conscripts falling down there with against the Panzer Grenadiers. Panzer IV likely going to roll in and make things even more miserable. And there we go. Conscripts under heavy fire. Panzer Grenadiers though actually running into some problems. And there we go. In fact, he could lose a squad with Zugmänner. And he lost the Panzer Grenadiers to the Conscripts. That is definitely a loss for Xelor and definitely a win for Nystrom to get a much more expensive squad with a much cheaper unit. Panzer IV doing what they can. There we go. The MG's just tearing through the Conscripts. Nasty work right there. Nystrom though making progress for the most part elsewhere. And we are seeing a second Panzer IV rolling out. Su-76 getting off a few decent hits on the rear of the Panzer IV. Anti-tank grenades getting locked right there. And there we go. Exhaust damage. There's a lot more sort of damage that can actually be done now to a tank. Someone might actually be depending on where you hit it. In this case, though, we do see some engine damage caused by hitting the exhaust, forcing the Panzer IV back. It's going to be an easier target, although sending in the Su-76 on its own is not a good idea. And that's, there we go. Nystrom quickly retreats, and also we also see that the second Panzer IV was moving up. Of course, Nystrom was not aware, but you know, again, he probably avoided a really nasty thing. And we do see the Su-85 coming out, rolling out to take on the fascist panzers. And there we go, Panzer IV rolling up, getting off a nice hit there on the Su-76. Next hit, but now Xelor himself needs to be careful. He could be running into a trap. You should be careful about sending in your panzers unsupported without infantry. And it looks like Xelor is committing that mistake indeed. He might get the Su-76, but we do see an anti-tank grenade going off, making it much easier to hit. And there we go, the Su-85 is just going to be able to tear through it with its 85mm higher velocity gun, which is absolutely devastating to the Panzer IV. And really a mistake there committed, I think, by Xelor. He got too eager, too zealous, and too carried away, and he actually ended up wasting a Panzer IV. So that was less good there for Xelor. Definitely a waste. His Panzer because they're quickly pushing in towards the center, and also very aggressive play towards the north. So far the Panzer Division is able to gain a larger part of the map, although again, now we do see that Nystrom is able to offer a bit more heavy resistance. Su-76 is also getting repaired, and also note here you can actually now get a quite heavy howitzer, 152mm. That's pretty big stuff, and something you definitely want to be careful about. Also note here the Panzer IV has been abandoned, so in theory Nystrom could actually recruit this and turn it against the Germans. Su-85 moving in, Panzer is also moving in. Bit of strafing going on here, though not really doing anything against the tank destroyer. Panzer IV needs to get behind it, otherwise this is going to end up badly. The Panzer might also want to consider upgrading with Panzerschrecks. Oh, he's actually using the Panzer Grenadier, I think, to recruit. Oh, no, Xelor, that was stuffed. He used a Veteran T2 squad of Panzer Grenadiers to recruit a Panzer IV that would be heavily damaged. I mean, I think he'd be better off if he just ordered the Panzer IV to destroy it. I mean, that's usually what the Germans did if they could not recover it themselves. They just blew it up. And this looks like to be another Panzer IV going to get lost right there. And there we go. It is out of control. An absolute waste right there for Xelor. And of course, thanks to the Su-76, he couldn't quite flank it either. That was really a poor move right there. An absolute waste. And there we go. The other Panzer also just went up in smoke. Not good at all for Xelor. Not good at all. Nicht gut. Definitely a case for self-reflection. And again, hit the dirt going off. Conscripts hunting on the railroad lines. More conscripts moving forwards. Su-76 quickly getting repaired. At the same time, smaller fighting going on. And the Pioneers going down to another squad of conscripts. This is looking terrible for Xelor. Panzerkampfwagen 4 moving forwards. Also note here, bunker upgrade for the Germans. If you want to heal your troops, you need to build a bunker and then upgrade to a medic bunker. On the other hand, you can build it wherever you want. Soviets need to get the field infirmary upgrade, and there you get a few nurses to then patch your troops up. So slight difference there. in how things are done. But already, I mean, Nystrom's got a ton of upgrades for his infantry. I mean, the Guards Rifle Doctrine is definitely the one that really benefits your infantry most as the Soviet player. Again, hit the dirt again. Well used, can really make your conscripts that much harder to kill. Plus, the assault package also helps quite a bit. Panzer IV, the rowing against the conscripts right there. They do quickly hit the dirt, but that's likely not going to help much as the Panzer IV fires away with 3 machine guns. And of course, it's high explosive rounds, although Panzer IV should be careful that the Soviets do not move in for the kill on the Panzer. And returning a bit to Xelor right here. He's in a bit of trouble. In fact, he's down to 3 infantry squads and a Panzer IV. And again, he wasted one of those veteran Panzer Grenadier squads. So I mean, in that sense, Xelor's actually put himself in a very nasty position, actually setting himself up for a really nasty bit of business going on there from Nystrom in return. And there we go, we are seeing the 2nd Panzer IV going to get hunted down by the Su-85, which has a higher range, of course. Also just can tear through that Panzer IV. And we do see that Xelor, of course, is doing his best to actually save the Panzer IV, pulling it behind here, the hedgerows and the trees. Of course, going to get the Su-85 have to move closer. And we do see one Panzer squad has been equipped with the Panzerschrecks. Thing is that currently there's been some slight change on this, but now you actually buy 2 Panzerschrecks at the same time for the Panzer Gunners at the same time. It also does more damage overall. I mean, it's now more that you sort of decide one anti-infantry squad, one anti-tank squad. And of course, if you use it as an anti-tank squad again, you get something actually quite devastating if used properly. The Pioneers went down, the Panzer IV's not good, but there we go. If he'd basically supported that Panzer IV earlier, up there, for example, with this, Manek's been able to save it. Veteran D2, by the way, for the Su-85, getting a damage bonus. I don't think that Panzer IV is going to make it out of there alive. And there we go, Su-85, Veteran D2, heavily damaged, but will the Panzer Gunners be able to get it? Heavy losses going on, and they're down, in fact, to 2 squads of Panzer Grenadiers and an Opel Blitz called in from the supply units. Another Su-85 rolling forwards. Panzer Gunners having trouble to catch up, and of course now the conscripts really have the advantage against the Panzer Gunners, who simply cannot muster the same amount of firepower. Although the Bun Grenade right here in this case completely clears it out, denying Nystrom another squad of conscripts. For his tank corps, the Su-76 holding up watch over the centre. Panzer Gunners moving towards the north, and again, so little infantry left. He's constantly replacing our Pioneers as well. And Nystrom's, of course, also suffering heavily, but not quite as heavily, because he's partly also countering Xelor's forces a bit more, well, shall we say, expertly and savagely. And the Su-76 also functions as field artillery, so it has several roles, in fact, and can be quite devastating if used properly, either on the defense to break up an enemy assault, of course on the offense to bombard enemy positions. So in that sense, the Soviets have an awful lot of artillery options here in the game. And now, of course, question becomes, looks like he's going for the heavy Panzer Corps, or relying on some core assets. And considering the doctrine, that's likely going to be a Tiger, called in for one of the SS Schwere Panzerabteilungs. And of course, fun fact is about the SS Tigers is initially the first 3 SS divisions, the Leibstandarte, Das Reich and Totenkampf, actually each had their own Tiger company, but later on they were taken away and used to form the 3 SS heavy armor battalions. So again, little fun fact there about the war. The Su-76 itself was actually based on a, I think, T-70 slightly extended chassis. Conscripts pushing up there. Looks like another strafing run going in there. Again, it's not going to do a lot to actually kill the opponent's infantry, or even damage it. What it does do is pin it down. So, of course, there's a slight difference to understand there. Panzer Gunners need to get out of there. Bun Grenade did alright there, killing one conscript. Su-85 getting repaired there. Note also that way that Nystrom's usually positioning them, he's keeping them in reserve position. He's not keeping them at the front. He's keeping them behind the front so that when he knows where the enemy strikes, he can then quickly move them there and actually react and destroy the Panzer at a slightly more safe distance, because with the tank destroyers, you usually want to use the distance as an advantage. In fact, the Su-85s also have the ability to actually lower the view cone, but at the same time they can then see farther. And in fact, the Su-85s veterans the abilities to tracking, which allows it to see really far. So there's some definite tactics there for potential Soviet commanders. More Panzer Grenadiers are arriving for Xelor, and he's clearly saving up resources for the Tigers. Apparently he feels victory is at the end of a Tiger's barrel now, having lost 3 Panzerkampfwagen, which is definitely a big cause for concern. And there we go, pinning down, but he quickly hits the dirt actually, but at the same time his troops are pinned down, so the Panzer Grenadiers can pretty much just move in and shoot them in the heads. Su-76 firing away, trying to get some of those fascist Hitlerites. Not quite succeeding though. Pioneer squad goes down again. He's losing quite a few pioneers as well to the conscripts. And Nystrom's really dominating the map at the moment. You know, just half the map, most of the victory points. And Xelor's just struggling to keep up with this. We also see a Pack 40 now arriving. Things are actually getting a bit desperate for him now, since he clearly needs to stock up on something to hold the line while he gets the Tiger. Now we see a small detachment being sent south. Tank destroying engineers. Might be supported by an assault from the north here. Could actually catch Xelor's infantry in a bit of a vice if handled properly. And there we go. The Panzer Grenadiers down to 2 men. Simply cannot overcome the combat engineers of Nystrom. Panzer still moving up here, and they could get the Su-76 with their Panzer Rex, the Raketen Books, and there we go. It is out of control. And it again veterans 1 to me. I mean, getting a damage bonus as well, so that was a bit unfortunate. Conscripts, though, not going to have much of a worry right there. Grenades and Molotovs being exchanged. A bit of a cultural exchange, if you will. The Geballte Ladung versus the Molotov cocktail. Panzer is getting caught in between 2 squads of conscripts right here in the north. Definitely not looking good. Geballte Ladung getting locked over the Panzer Grenadiers. Molotov getting locked in return. Conscripts go down. Panzer continue to fight despite the fighting against another squad. Hit this dirt, but in this case, it can't quite succeed, even with Inspire. Although, will it? Oh, looking so close, so close. The conscripts continue fighting, but we're seeing the Panzer Grenadiers mark target to gain increased accuracy bonuses. And the last Panzer Grenadiers is the last man standing, pulling off a spectacular small victory right there. Panzer Grenadiers moving in, sneaking in to perhaps do some damage to Soviet tank destroy capability. Bundle grenade going on the Panzer Grenadier conscripts. I keep messing up. That's not good. And then we go, almost getting the conscript squad. The bundle grenade's definitely paying off. And there you go. The Su-85 is actually exposed to the 2 squads of Panzer Grenadiers. Will they be able to get the Su-85, or will the Su-85 escape? And there we go. 2 rockets connect with the tank destroyer, doing quite a bit of damage. And of course, the Su-85 is not really designed for dealing with infantry, mind you. But it's actually time for the mid-game analysis. The current situation, as you might be noticing, could be better for Xelor. I mean, he's slowly pushing back now, but he suffered quite some losses earlier on. A lot of Panzer Grenadiers, and again, 3 Panzer IVs again. Not really the best usage. I think Xelor simply got too greedy, too confident, too fanatically convinced in final victory, I suppose, at this moment. Of course, we should never lose sight of that, but, you know, temper it. At the same time, though, I mean, he's doing some damage. I mean, he's still able to overwhelm Nystrom with his Panzer Grenadiers. He's still using them all right, but again, he's also in some cases suffering a bit needless losses. And he's actually now using Tiger tanks in the hopes of getting something a bit more solid, something less likely to fall apart in his hands. Nystrom, on the other hand, keeping up the pressure. Again, he's, you know, doing quite well. He's constantly shifting about. He's not attacking from one point. And again, he's trying to sort of draw out Xelor into engagements that's not going to be in Xelor's favour. He's also suffering heavy losses, but on the other hand, he's also using considerably cheaper infantry, and he's also making really good usage of the doctrinal abilities. I mean, Xelor's only really used this, and this so far he's getting some of this, but for example, you know, he's not used the officer, for example, very much. So I mean, there's also some difference in how the doctrinal abilities so far are being used, and in this case, Nystrom's definitely winning ahead, at least for the time being. But Nystrom needs, you know, to keep up the pressure. He needs to keep going at the victory points, and he might want to consider slightly spreading out his force a bit, considering either getting another Su-76 or a Katyusha for a bit of artillery support. And then otherwise perhaps also trying with a deeper flanking maneuver right here, in fact trying to hit the rear lines up here of Xelor's forces, or perhaps trying the same move up here. Either way, I think could actually work out quite nicely for Nystrom. But let us return to the fight, to the Kampf.
Standing by. Our opponents are seizing a sector.
SU-85 right here in need of repairs. I don't think he's... the combat engineer is all the way down there. Panzers here trying their best. In fact, they do alright in holding back the conscripts. We are in fact seeing a marked target going on here. Panzer VI flying away. Incendiary rock grenade simply lights one Panzer Grenadier on fire like a Roman candle. More Panzer VI and a bundle grenade. Killing 3 Panzer Grenadiers outright. Other squad of conscripts though flanks about. And there we go, the Panzer Grenadiers are forced to leave the field. Quite unfortunate. Half-track more out for Xelor might actually help him in keeping a battlefield presence. So that's actually a good idea. And there we go, the Tiger arrives. The Panzerkampfwagen 6. He can upgrade with an MG for increased firepower if he so desires. And in fact, there we go. Tiger rolls forward for the fatherland. And a bit of light harassment going on there, though coming under fire from the SU-85. Victory points largely in the hands of the Germans. Conscripts going in, and there we go again, hit the dirt. Panzer is doing what they can, but definitely having a trouble weeding out all those communists. And actually suffering some losses in the process. But there we go, the conscripts are finally sent away. In the meanwhile, the Tiger takes our position in the center, forming a strong point right there for Xelor, and definitely a point of... Ooh! First shot misses, although rather quickly gets the conscripts to hit the dirt. And we are seeing a bit of a support going in there, I think, from Nystrom. I think another S-mine went off. And we're seeing a Sturmwix strafing run. In this case, not quite doing any much to it. MD right there actually trying to shoot down the Sturmwix in self-defense, although he's not quite having any luck. And Ostwind could perhaps be a bit of use there in shooting down the aircraft. And looks like the half-track was sent in on its own. Why on earth would Xelor do that? And there we go, strafing run moving in. Shooting apart trees, not quite actually having any luck in hitting the fascist equipment. SU-85 gets off a nice rear hit on the Tiger, doing quite a bit of damage there. Nasty stuff, nasty stuff. Pack and Pentagon is fighting in the south, forcing away the SU-85 there and keeping the conscripts a bit at bay. Half-track in trouble. Tiger hitting a tree. Not quite what we're looking for. Absturmführer. It looks like the half-track could go down. Tiger doing what I can, and there we go. The half-track is out of control. A ruin. A wreck. Piece of scrap. More Panzer Grenadiers moving forwards. Coming under fire from the SU-85. Conscripts coming under fire. Tiger moving out. Firing away, not quite hitting. Come on, fire frei. At the same time, there we go. Panzer is moving up, trying to get that SU-85. Blasting away Panzer VI into the side of the SU-85, the tank destroyer. Main gun destroyed. It might be able to get it. And also note, veterancy fleet increasing weapon accuracy, making an overall much more lethal even with the Panzer VI. Tiger could perhaps move a bit further forward. Bit of a shame though, he did not send the Panzer guns further in, but looks like the SU-5s are getting out. And there we go, the Katyusha, not Katyusha, that would be a bit silly, but Katyusha, the Stalin organ. Well, firing a series of rocket volleys.
It's in our hands now.
And there we go, and the central victory point is once more Reichs. Tiger watching over it. Conscripts firing up north. Molotov getting locked at the Panzer Grenadiers. Oh, actually using it to block the way of the Panzer Grenadiers, and there we go, hit the dirt, but one grenade, and the president of the Panzer is forcing them away. And another veterancy fleet Panzer Grenadier squad. Definitely some crack Panzer Grenadiers right there. Fighting going on in the south, pushing forward with some conscripts there. Panzers moving forward, but they're hitting into the barbed wire field, making themselves easier targets for the conscripts. That's definitely not to their advantage. There we go, quick Molotov, quick bundle grenade in return. Bundle grenade, though this case does very little. Unfortunately, another attempt to hit the dirt, and there we go, veterans, 2 conscripts versus veterans, 1 Panzer. The Panzers are going to lose! and gets wiped out. Another Panzer squad on the way, though, to replace. He's still saving up. He's clearly likely going to go for another Tiger tank. Conscripts there sent running. SU-85 continues to be repaired. The other SU-5 holding and dominating the south. For Comrade Stalin, it's actually time to look back at Nystrom. We've pretty much got all of his abilities unlocked. Using them again quite nicely, quite offensively, quite aggressively. And there goes some veteran TV Panzer is going to get overwhelmed. And looks like he's actually gotten a Maxim machine gun. So Nystrom slightly splitting things up and actually going to force Xelor, if he wants the north again, to actually send in a Tiger to deal with the Maxim machine gun. That's definitely going to cause a problem for the Germans. Lovely stuff. SU-85 pulling back. One getting repaired. Lovely, lovely. And there we go. Tiger moving north, staying at range, wants to avoid getting hit by an anti-tank grenade, though that could very well happen. And there we go. The question is, does Xelor actually have the Pioneers to repair? It looks like the... Oh! Conscripts could go down. Veterans in 2 conscripts could go down to the Tiger tank. Machine gun firing away liberally, but no. Last conscripts pulls it off and gets the devil out of there. And meanwhile, conscripts pushing through the center. Pioneers, who could have repaired the Tiger, pushed away. And meanwhile, though, the MG, the Maxim, is now getting bombarded by the Tiger. Will the Tiger be able to knock out the machine gun? So far, apparently not. And we're seeing an Ostwind out for Xelor, but not in support of his Panzer. The north thing, he has to be careful though. There's an SU-85 nearby. And there we go, already one shot takes the SU-85 down to half health. Panzer Abwehrkanone moves up. Driver injured. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Pack gets off a nice hit on the SU-85, but the Ostwind flak Panzer goes up in flames. It was definitely not a tank, not a very durable one. So a bit of a shame right there for Xelor. He might be getting a bit desperate, I'm not sure. Tiger continues to fire up here against the MG, blasting away. And the Katyusha barrage being delivered towards the south. Oh, clearing out the pack as well. Nasty stuff. House here slowly beginning to fall apart, and the machine gunners inside are definitely running into a few problems. As high explosive round after high explosive round is poured into the house. Machine gunners definitely not looking too good. And there we go, SU-85 getting encountered with the Panzer Grenadiers, the veterans of 3-1s with the Panzer Rex. Or the conscripts veterans of 2 hitting the dirt, are looking to do their worst as well. And there we go, the SU-5 goes down to the Panzer Grenadiers, bottom grenade, takes out both of the conscripts, sending their way, and notes 5 squads of conscripts, 4 of them veterans of 2 by the way. 1 squad moving up there to try and get the Tiger in the rear, and there we go. Machine gun crew finally forced to abandon their nest, and a conscript squad sneaks about, cutting off the munitions for Xelor and the 3rd SS. Nasty stuff. Tiger tears through a few more conscripts right there. And the conscripts down south facing off against the most veteran of Panzer Gunners. 39 kills, by the way. We do see the conscripts hit the dirt, but I don't think they'll be able to overcome these veteran elite Panzer Gunners who know all the tricks, including getting conscripts out of the dirt. And just note how close the victory points are for the 2 sides, both around 100. Tiger pulling back, going to need the repairs, I imagine. And we also see another S-mine field being laid down in the south towards that victory point. With the rest of the plucky pioneers on the pack. Down south, more Katyusha fire towards the north, likely center, and support the conscripts. Likely going to try and catch some fascists. Not quite having any luck right there. Might be he was trying to go for an interdiction move and basically just catch some troops on the move, but the trouble with interdiction moves is you're not always guaranteed to actually catch something. Tiger moving in, support with the Panzer Grenadiers, opening up the conscripts, quickly taking through there, and another S-mine goes off. Those S-mines have definitely paid themselves off, at least initially, wiping out 2 squads of conscripts, really doing a lot of work. And we're seeing the veterans of 2 SU-85 being sent off, and another S-mine right there, killing an engineer. 2 combat engineers left.
Our territory is falling into enemy hands.
Setting off more S-mines. In this case, looks like Xelor was not able to finish the S-mine field, actually ensuring that combat engineers could largely survive unharmed. That's a bit unfortunate.
Territory is ours.
More Panzer Grenadiers, more Pioneers. Not necessarily the most advanced tactic being laid down here by Xelor. So not the most deep. And a strafing run going in. Oh dear! And the veterans of 3 conscripts went down to a full strike from the Sturmovik. Oh dear, and now in that case the Austrian would have been useful, but again, Xelor pretty much wasted that one. In that sense, he's making some considerable mistakes. Conscripts though going in against the Tiger. The Tiger, they're doing what they can. Already 22 kills. A beast this mighty Tiger is. Although we do see more anti-tank grenades getting lobbed against the Tiger. And 3 more conscripts vanishing in the blink of an eye to a high explosive round. More conscripts going down. The Panzers doing what they can. 29 kills in that squad. And the Su-85 moving in from the south. Panzer conscripts leading the way. Pioneers trying to move up, but they're running into problems. Another conscript squad right to be in trouble as well. Veterans of 3 though. Conscripts here trying to take the center victory point. They do succeed, but with heavy losses. With very heavy losses.
The enemy has 100 points remaining. We are losing territory.
1 Panzer gun is up here, faced off with the Maxim quick retreat. Rockets going in against the Tiger and the nearby Pioneers. Things are definitely getting tense. And the Pioneers here getting simply murdered by the conscripts. Another Panzer gun escort moves in. And another conscript squad hit the dirt. Or hits the dirt.
Taking what we have secured.
Su-76 ready to stop any fascist Tiger tanks. And the Tiger rolling forward again, though, with a damaged engine. Not going to go very fast. Going to try and get that maximum wager. Pack pull back for reinforcement repairs. Healing even. And there we go. The Maxim running into a bit of Tiger-related trouble.
Enemy forces capturing supply sector.
There we go. 2 machine gunners down. Soviet MD crews, and for that matter all support crews, do enjoy higher durability thanks to the larger crews, which also mean they can work a bit more independently, whereas the 8 German ones really need to stay close to their combat troops. And a strafing run going down the south in return, or no, that's a fragmentation bomb, getting another conscript squad. Absolutely devastating. Fragmentation bombs absolutely wiping out a Veterans 2 squad of conscripts, allowing the Panzers to quickly move back. Points are definitely ticking down. 58 points left for Nystrom, 76 for his German opposition. Returning to Xelor and the 3rd SS. Torten Cup, Panzers fighting away. Molotovs going off, burning them away. The conscripts are simply murdering them. There we go. Panzer squad lost in the blink of an eye, and a 2nd Tiger tank rolls out. More Panzer Grenadiers will clearly be needed. Immer mehr Panzer Grenadier, mein Herr. And an attempt at barbed wire quickly gets stopped by a Tiger tank, quickly wiping out 3 of the engineers, and the MG finishes off, lighting the entire thing on fire. Tiger up here a bit on its own. Will need support from the 2nd Tiger. We are seeing the Su-85 moving in. It is Veteran 2, and the Tiger's rear is exposed. We do see the Tiger pulling up. We do see the conscripts simply hitting the dirt, making themselves much harder for the Panzer to get. And that Tiger's going to go down. It's a 34 kill, almost Veterans 1 Tiger tank. And it goes down. The Su-85 gets it. Points are so close for both armies. 60, 58. Panzer Grenadiers pushing forward, pushing away the conscripts. Pioneers following up. Katyusha barrage going in from Nystrom. Tiger with a damaged engine. Other Tiger a burning wreck. And another Su-85 getting called in for Nystrom and the 20th Tank Corps as the Panzer Grenadiers in the center suffer heavy bombardment. Also the only veteran Panzer Grenadiers left on the field. Conscripts in the north suffering from the bombardments of the Tiger tank. The Tiger. The SU-85 having a bit of trouble penetrating the frontal arm of the Tiger, but nonetheless manages and does a bit of damage when it finally does. And the Panzer is trying to head from another SU-85, but again risks getting overrun by the conscripts. Bundle grenade almost does the job, almost. SU-85 almost dead, but the Panzer is simply pushed back. The conscripts are too many. More follow-up in the wake of the first squad, and that Tiger's actually going to go down. He needs to get out of there before the SU-85 gets it, and main gun destroyed. Veterancy 3, SU-85, damage reduction, and there we go. The SU-85 gets a second Tiger. That's 2 Tigers down to the same tank destroyer. Definitely also showing that just having Tigers is not going to win you the war. You need something to work them with, and in that sense, Xelor was definitely much less prepared since he did not support them with Panzer grenades. Had that been the case, he probably could have won that one. Tigers are very much vehicles you need to work with other units. Panzer is quickly hiding up here before moving back into the center. Points are ticking down. He just needs to hold on a bit more for the fatherland. The SU-85 pushes forward. The commander looking out, spotting for targets for fascist tanks to knock out. And Xelor has so little left. So little left. He could try with an elephant tank destroyer to try and knock out the SU-85s, or perhaps another Tiger, or simply a Panther for something a bit faster that could perhaps... No, he's going for a Sturm Panzer 4. Bundle grenade here against the veterans of 3 conscripts, but does not quite do as much. And the Panzers could still end up losing to them. And indeed looks like it, and there we go. Katyusha barrage, another Panzer squad going to get lost. And there we go, more Panzer grenadiers dead at the hands of the communists, at the Bolsheviks. Another squad going to go down in the south to conscripts, and there we go. The conscripts, I mean, well handled, they can be devastating, particularly in conjunction with hit the dirt. And there we go, the surviving veterans, the 3 Panzer grenadiers, the ones who have seen the most battle and actually survived to tell the tale so far. And there we go, Sturm Panzer 4 moving in. Equipped with a 115 centimeter howitzer, it can devastate most targets if it can get close enough. And with a 100mm frontal armor, it's definitely a bit of a threat. Conscripts moving in there. Veterans with 3 conscripts versus veterans with 3 Panzer grenadiers, but the conscripts do have the advantage. They actually don't have to care about Panzer strikes. Bundle grenade that goes off, mortar goes off, Katyusha goes off. So much going off in the center. 12 points left for Nystrom. He needs those victory points. Well, now it's actually Xelor who needs them because he's the one ticking down for with 40 victory points. Sturm Panzer making a push towards the south, supporting the pioneers. Pac-Man also wants to pull a bit up closer, but there we go. Sturm Panzer 4. The Panzer gunners in the center are simply getting overwhelmed, getting murdered. And Xelor needs more infantry. And these Panzer gunners definitely need to get out of there. There we go, bundle grenade. Gets the veterans of 3 conscripts. 1 man left, barely held together by anything except his uniform. And Flamethrower pioneers fighting against conscripts. The Sturm Panzer 4 finding away. Anti-tank grenade on it. Hits the engine. Molotov goes off. And we're seeing another conscript squad, much rawer. And there we go, taking a hit from the Sturm Panzer 4. Quickly getting thrown to the ground. But they continue nonetheless. Comrade Stalin wills it. And there we go. The conscripts are suffering heavy losses to the Sturm Panzer. And a Katyusha barrage in support, but the conscripts simply cannot get their way past the Sturm Panzer 4. Center, on the other hand, now is exposed, and we do see that Nystrom's pushing forwards everything he has to take that point. 5 points left. Can he make it? 4, and the Maxim simply just being pushed forwards. Davai, davai. And there we go, the central victory point. But will it be rendered neutral? 2. 1 victory point, and good lord, he did it! 1 victory point left for Nystrom. This is it. On the other hand, if Xelor can break him, But question is, can he? He will need a full assault here or towards here. Needs to sneak something in there, perhaps. But can he? Can he overcome Nystrom? Can he muster a small enough or solid enough force to actually push through when there's so little points left for him as well? And there we go, the Panzer is running straight into the Maxim machine gun. It's quickly suppressing the Panzer gunners. They continue through the craterous landscape. Bundle grenade killing 2 of the machine gunners, but they're still there. The Su-85 also firing. And incredibly enough, he's still trying to get, I think, another Tiger tank. I think Xelor might have gotten slightly enamored with the heavy Panzers without perhaps realizing there are other methods to win the fight. It looks like he might be able to clear out the machine gun, but their conscripts moving in. And again, quickly hitting the dirt. A Molotov going off. Panzer gunner is suffering heavy losses in the face of Soviet resistance. And looks like a Panzer squad goes down. There we go, just training lots and lots of Panzer gunners. He's quickly trying to get the numbers out to win the war. And another squad sneaking north, but already we do see the Nystroms prepared for a sneak assault. He should have done this the first thing, and of course he could even have done it with the early half track, simply rushed it up there, and that's something to reinforce the Panzer gunners as well, but again now it is might be too late. And there we go, we see Xelor an absolute desperate run, Pioneer, Sturmpanzer, even the packs being rushed forward, everything in one last desperate push. Su-85 there, not a problem, there's still the veterans free Su-85. And there we go, one nice hit really takes out a huge chunk on the Sturmpanzer 4. Panzer is finding up here and they are simply losing to the veterans 3 conscripts. 10 points left, Pioneers moving forward straight in and getting murdered by the conscripts. Sturmpanzer 4 though gets them. Other conscripts moving in from behind. Sturmpanzer 4 almost out, destroyed engine. Oh dear. And there you go, the Sturmpanzer 4 is out of control. The pack trying to do what it can, but it's simply not enough. It is too late. The battle looks to be lost, and there we go, playback over. A loss for the Reich, a loss for the 3rd SS, despite throwing in as many men as possible. Ultimately, of course, Xelor failed. Why did he fail, of course, is then the question. And it largely came down to the way he supported his tanks, which is not at all. He would rush in panzers without any infantry support. And panzers were, you know, meant to work with infantry, but Xelor seemed to have forgotten that. And in this particular route here, I mean, he lost 2 Panzer 4s. He wasted a veterancy 2 Panzer in his squad trying to recover another Panzer 4, which got knocked out. I mean, he just wasted resources right there. Then he had 1 left again, unsupported. He could have perhaps, with all the Panzer gunners earlier on, upgraded 1 release with some Panzer X to support, but again, that did not happen. In that sense, Xelor wasted a lot of resources, threw away a good opportunity. Then came the Tigers, and again, he did not support them. And finally, I mean, considering the sort of expensive infantry he had, he did not, for example, try and get a half-track to then give them more mobility, so he could have them more places at once. Instead, he just tried to have them cover everything when he perhaps only had 3 squads or 4. Instead of, you know, perhaps having 2 in a half-track, then rushing them to where they were needed. That might have worked better, because then he could have at least locally gotten the advantage. But again, he didn't. And in the end, I mean, Nystrom's good usage of hit the dirt of the assault submachine guns, not the assault rifles, and basically also the strafing runs, and the Su-85s, in the long run, allowed Nystrom to just win over Xelor. I mean, it was pretty damn close. I mean, it's not like Xelor is playing completely half-assed, but he made a few critical mistakes, which allowed Nystrom to beat him out. So, there you go. Hope you enjoyed this match. Hope you learned something for friends. Share it with everyone you know. If you didn't, well, why not send a replay of your own? Provide some feedback in the comments. Who knows? But this is Imperial Dane saying cheers. Feel free to send in a replay of your own on propagandacast@gmail.com. Be sure to mark what level you are in it, what sort of match it is. I do not accept 2 large matches, that is 4 versus 4 I think. No AI matches and no annihilation matches. But there you go, this is Imperial Dane saying cheers and pre-order if you haven't already.